All right, we are about to jump back into our show program. We have our junior bulls up next. Class number 19. Class number 19 is bull 8 months and under 12 months. These are the youngest bulls that we have exhibited here today. We would like to give a big thank you to Brown Wig Rural and Agricultural Supplies. Big thank you to them for sponsoring this class. We have two lovely junior bulls heading in to kick off this afternoon's judging with our junior bull classes. A great big thank you to all of our spectators who have come out after lunch to watch the 2024 Australian Highland Cattle Society judging this afternoon. This afternoon we have an absolutely jam-packed program. We have our junior bulls, followed by our junior bull championship, the senior bulls and the senior bull championship. We have some steers as well that will be judged this afternoon before we will be heading into our group classes. So we have a very, very busy afternoon. So we hope that you stick around and watch some of the judging and support some of our sponsors that are here with stalls here this weekend. And make sure that you're heading over to the Australian Highland Cattle Society tent over by the Cattle Pavilion there. They have programs available for you if you want to be able to follow along and have the names of the animals, and also it makes a great piece of memorabilia to remember the Geelong 2024 National Show. They also have raffle tickets available. The first prize for the raffle is a age steel statue valued at $4,000. So make sure you're heading over there at some point to grab a ticket.
Start of our bull show. Exciting to see these two young prospect bulls come out here. Both of them 8 months old. We have some differences between the two. The one that comes out on top here is a calf that really outperforms the bull below him in terms of his size, his thickness, his depth of body. Not just quality and performance, but he also outdoes the other calf in his structural integrity. As I get around the front of them, you see this calf here has a really straight on foot and leg position in the front as compared to this red. It kind of toes out a little bit as he stands there. I want to see good testicular development on these calves. Even at this age, I'm starting to feel that and make sure first they have two. They got to have two. And then also that they are well developed. Reproduction, is really the name of the game. We're evaluating these bulls on their reproductive quality, as well as all those other points of breed character and beef and structure. So what we have here is a calf that has some merit. I do like the way he's made in his leg angles, the size of his foot, decent breed character to him. Just change him a bit and give him a little more rib depth, a little more substance in the forerib. Change the angle of his hips just a little bit, and those feet also that are toeing out a bit. So congratulations, nice set of bulls.
Once again, congratulations to Erkdale of Jindabyne, first place in class number 19. And second place was Phoenix of Russlin. For those of you following the numbers in the program, number 53 was in first place and number 52 was in second place for class number 19. We will move on now to class number 20. Class 20 is bull 12 months and under 16 months. So these bulls are slightly older than the calves that we had in the last class. We've got 3 bull calves in this class. We would like to thank Mr. Mix Wines for sponsoring this class. We are very grateful to have you on board. Without our sponsors, a show like this is not able to go on. So we're very, very grateful to have the support of Mr. Mix Wines. A big thank you to all of our spectators for coming out and supporting the 2024 Australian Highland Cattle Society National Show. We are so appreciative that you have come out to spend your Sunday with us and our incredible animals. We really, really are very proud to be able to show them off for you today.
So I talked a while in the female classes about structural integrity, about durability over time, that longevity we want to see in the Highland breed. Same pertains to bulls. The way I place these here, we have a bull that comes out on the top because he is structurally the best. This calf has the best foot. He has the best leg angles. He has that heel that we want to see elevating his foot. And he has this rib shape, this muscularity that is very desirable. In terms of breed character, he might be my least favorite in the class. It's a factor, but it's not a factor that's stronger than structure. So he comes out on the top because he has all of that. He has good testicular development, strongest in the class. I think he's going to be a strong breeding bull. I changed him just a little bit, maybe in his hip structure, a little rounder type, give him a little more muscle depth, to be critical, but give him some age and he'll probably show a little bit more of that as well. I do like how clean and proportionate it is through that front end, balanced in his body throughout. Bull that comes second is kind of the opposite of that, and that he's heavy fronted. There's a lot of chest, a lot of depth of chest. And then he tapers more towards the back end through that flank region. So right up through here, he kind of cuts up a bit. I get behind him, and he's a flat-sided kind of bull. I want to see that rib shape. I was talking in the female classes about how important it is to have that rib shape and depth. He needs to have a more well-sprung rib, and also his hip design is just a little round. I'm thinking already at this point in the selection phase, I'm thinking about what kind of daughters he's going to make, right? And so I want a bull that's going to make a brood cow that's going to have all of that Highland quality, all of that productive maternal ability. And I think as compared to the bull above him, he needs to have a little bit more of that dimension in his rib shape and in his muscularity, his hip design. Also, as I get into looking at his feet, he's a little more flat-footed, a little longer toed. He splays outward from behind, and so those are things that are going against him. He does have some size advantage to the bull below him. This calf needs to have, again, some of the same weaknesses. In this one, he's a little flat-footed. He also toes outward a little bit in that back end, drops through his hip design. Like to see him a little more extended and a little more of him for his age. But calf that has some breed character and some depth of body, and I have to appreciate that.
Congratulations to Lorcan Angelo of Glenstray, number 55 in first place. Andor of McLanaday in second place, and Archie the First of Eloise in third place. For class number 20, bull 12 months and under 16 months. We will move now into class number 22. We don't have any bulls that are 16 months and under 21 months. We are jumping straight to bull 20 months and under 24 months. We would like to thank Strathburn Highlands for sponsoring this class. Once again, without our sponsors, this show isn't able to continue to go ahead. So a big, big thank you to Strathburn Highlands for their support of our show. Following the completion of this class, we will be heading into our champion junior bull, where our junior bulls of different ages will face off for the title of champion junior bull. We are currently judging class number 22. Class number 22 is bull 20 months and under 24 months. This is the final of our junior bulls classes. It's proudly sponsored by Strathburn Highlands. Thank you so much for your support. After this class, we will be following with the championship for the champion junior bull.
Only 2 entries in this class, but I have to say that I'm very pleased. two very quality bulls representing the breed here. We have a yellow bull on the far side here that I think has what he needs to be a sire of excellent brood cows. I get behind this bull. He's really wide over the top of the hip. He has width in his pins. He stands wide. From the calving ease standpoint, I think he's going to make a daughter that's going to have that ease of calving. He's a big-footed bull. He has the right angles to his legs. Lays in really nice through this front end. Appreciate how smooth he is in through this shoulder without sacrificing substance. You see some bulls that are nice and smooth, but they really don't have that that chest volume and that width between the front legs. But as I get in front of him, I'm not disappointed. I really see a bull that is correct in his from the foot all the way up through his shoulder joint and up through his scapula. So that's really good to see. I want to see that depth of rib that he has. And again, I'm thinking daughters. Both these bulls are strong in breed character. Really love the Dawson. That's the name, Scottish name for their forelock. It's really a fine example of the breed and his horn set and his hair. Would like to see more hair just from a fitter standpoint. As I'm judging breed character, it's nice to see a little more hair on the body, just my personal preference. But I can see that he has that in his head, and at home he would be a beautiful haired bull. Beautiful hair on this bull as well. As compared to the bull above him, he gives up just a little bit in that substance behind, and as you get in front of him, he's not as wide through the chest floor, through the shoulders. He's flat, a little flatter designed. A lot to like about him, though. He's long-sided. He's got a good hip structure to him, rib curvature. I really like the angle of his pasterns, and maybe just a pinch more than this bull. Every once in a while, he gets a little straight in his pasterns, and as he's moving out, he wants to rock just a little bit. It's not a consistent thing. If it was, we'd call it a fault. I wouldn't call it a fault the way he has it, but to be more perfect, this bull really is superior in his pastern design, and I do like that about him. Both of these bulls have good testicles for their age, and I think this bull is just giving up a little bit of overall performance, a little depth of rib as compared to that bull above him. But two outstanding bulls with a lot of breeding potential.
We are now going to bring back in the first place getters and second place getters from our other junior bull classes as we judge the championship. A big thank you to Bullmax Australia for sponsoring Champion Junior Bull and Barnsley Highlands for sponsoring Reserve Champion Junior Bull. Those of you who are here this morning will be familiar with the process for judging the championships. We have our first place getters who compete against each other for the title of the championship, and the second place getters are eligible if the animal that they came second to wins the championship. So we have seen all of these animals already today. We have judged them against animals of their same age, and we are now judging them across their age categories.
All right, we've arrived at our championship here, and these young bulls represent the breed well, I'd say. We have some strengths, we have some weaknesses, but a couple of these that really rise to the top. Starting with this black calf at the end, I like a lot of things about this calf. There's a lot of substance there. There's a lot of rib depth and shape to him. This calf has a nice big foot and enough extension along with that depth. He's got this length of body. You get behind him and he has some natural substance. I like his hip structure. He's worn some hair off. It makes him look a little strange from the profile, but as you put your hands on him, he's actually has pretty good structure throughout the hip and pin, better than he even looks on the profile. So I maybe give him a little less front end, not bad there, but he could be just slightly cleaner there. I do like a lot about him, though. He's got a lot of breeding potential, I think. This calf, I talked about him in the class. He's got a lot of natural substance, that muscle. He has that rib shape. I like his foot and his leg. Really pleased with his structure from the ground upward. Change him just a little bit through the way he's designed in this hip and pin region. He's just a little round here, a little sloped here. From a calving standpoint, it's not as good a design as some of these other bulls, particularly this bull. It's right where you want to be in terms of where those pelvic bones, those pin bones, and the whole setup is oriented here. I see him being the best bull in this class, in this division, in terms of his overall structure, his size, his breed character, and will be your champion in this division. Yeah. A reserve is a little bit closer for me. I have three good options here. We have a bull that came second to this bull. I really like a lot about him, and I just talked about him. I won't be too redundant, but I think he gives up maybe a little in depth of body and substance behind and through the front as I look at him, but a strong bull for breed character, for structural soundness. Definitely a contender. If I had to take a bull home and breed with him, I think I'd take this little black bull, and he's going to be your reserve.
A big congratulations to Titan Arrow of Mackinlester for taking the title of Champion Junior Bull. And another big congratulations to Erkdale of Jindabyne for taking out the title of Reserve Champion Junior Bull. While we are taking some photos here of our beautiful Junior Bull champions and reserve champions, feel free to head over to the Lions Club of Geelong. They have hot Highland beef pies. They are going to be on sale for $5 until they are sold out. They have hot Highland beef pies for $5 and pork pork pies for $4 until they are sold out. So head over there while we are taking some photos of our champion and reserve champion. We are now going to head into our senior bull classes. We have 3 classes of senior bulls this afternoon. The first of which is class number 23. This is bull 24 months and under 36 months. Bull 24 months and under 36 months. A big thank you to Yob Honda Highlands for sponsoring this class. Without our sponsorship, we cannot run this show. So a big, big thank you to them as well.
So what you may or may not know is that there's a lot of age difference in these bulls. Uh, the bull to start this class has just turned 2 this very day. So a 24-month-old bull. Our second place bull is 32 months old, so an entire 8 months older. And in third place here, we have a bull that comes age-wise right between them. So there's a lot of advantage being the older bull in the class. You look the biggest and most impressive. However, as I studied these bulls, I think this bull comes out on top in terms of his structural correctness. I like how smooth he is from the profile. There's not a piece of him that doesn't fit. He's really blends through that front shoulder, carries this depth of rib that I want to see in his daughters, a depth of muscle that's really important. He carries this all the way down, plenty of beef, good leg structure, good foot structure. He's got that curvature to his claw, that depth of heel. He moves out well, has good testicles. I'd give him just a little bit more muscularity through the loin here. I'm being critical. That's my job. I'm going to pick him apart. I give him a little more width through the pins, particularly. I want to see a bull that's going to make a wide pin kind of daughter. A little round through the hip and pin. But altogether, I think he comes out as the superior bull in this class. Now, I'll show you why as I compare him to this bull. So a larger bull, but older. He has a lot of rib, a lot of substance through the middle. He's got a lot of substance in the front end, but I'm not as pleased with the way it all comes together. I'd like to see a little more strength through this heart girth, through this forerib. As I put my hands on his loin, I'd like to see more there, and especially as it's in proportion to his shoulders and neck. He has a lot of power here, but kind of gives up some substance behind those big shoulders. And then also in this rear end structure, while I like his hip structure just a little bit better than the yellow bull, he's giving up that depth of muscle. Down through here, you see he just kind of gets a little convex, or concave rather. We want to see it more convex in the shape of his round. You people on this side can see what I'm talking about. We just want to see him carry that muscle down a little lower. And so proportionately and structurally, I think he's not quite as good a bull as that yellow for his age. And there's some strengths and weaknesses. You know, down the road, you look at these two bulls' daughters, and maybe you'll like this bull better. And that's, you know, I have to judge him today, and we can all judge him in the future and say who's really best. But as I sort these strengths and weaknesses, I'm going to go with this bull, this younger bull, and take this one as second place. I do really like the width of his structure behind, especially the width of his legs as he moves out. He's the best bull in the class in terms of how much room he keeps between his back legs, and that's an important feature as well. So I admire that. The bull in third, he's giving up performance as compared to either of these bulls. Not quite as big as the yellow bull, even though he's an older bull. He's just giving up that power, that muscularity. He's needing to be stronger through the loin, a little cleaner, smoother through the point of his shoulder, stronger in his heart girth. I'd like to see him carry his muscle depth down lower and be broader between these back legs as he moves out behind. And so really, I'd like to see him really expanded and have more dimension in the way he's put together. Needs a little larger testicular size as well for his age. So a bull with some breed character and some depth of body. I like the way he moves when he's walking out. I like his foot shape. I'd like to bring him up a little in the pasterns, but not too bad there. Altogether, usable bull for sure. Thank you.
Congratulations once again to number 59, William Windrush of Hunter Highlands, for placing first place in that class. And second place went to number 61, that was Kingsley of Jindabyne. And third place to Gilly of Kylo. The next class that we have is class number 24. This is bull 3 years and under 5 years of age. A big thank you to Cork Hills Ag Services for sponsoring this class for us today.
Single entry bull class here. Bull that's just over 3 years old. Impressive guy for sure. He's got a lot of size and substance. You can see that muscle in him. He's carrying quite a bit of beef. We want to see this kind of a big triangle of beef, and he's got that. I evaluate him from the feet upward. I see a really solid hoof, has that great structure. It lifts him high. It has that curvature to the claw. He's got a leg that really is structurally sound, and he's got lots of width behind. I get behind him and really impressed with how wide he moves. And as I view him through the top, he's got this broad hip. And again, we're talking about a bull that can make some daughters. I want to see that width up there. It's going to have broad hip daughters. He has that depth of rib I talked a lot about in the cow classes, where he just carries this depth all the way through from his chest backwards. He's got some capacity there. So I envision daughters that can graze, fill their bellies, have a full-term calf, have everything functioning in there, and do their job with efficiency. So really like that. I like the way he blends through his front end. I have to appreciate how smooth for the amount of substance he has. He's pretty seamless through that front end. Very clean. There's no waste in this carcass. If you're talking about a beef animal, you have a proportionate beef animal. You know, he has the right cuts where you want the cuts of beef. I'd say, just to be very critical, I'll give him a little bit more loin through the ribeye region. Just picking him apart there. But a bull that really shows some tremendous quality, some good breed character as well, and represents the Highland breed well, I'd say. Congratulations.
Once again, a big congratulations to Larimar of Amrable Park, number 62, placing first in that class. And we will now move on to the final of our senior bull classes. Another single entry class, bull 5 years and under 10 years of age. This class is sponsored by McLenaday Highlands. A big thank you to them for their support for this show and ongoing.
Another single entry bull, a 5-year-old bull here. And of course, with age comes size and maturity. You can see, and in the Highland breed, they're a slower maturing breed, and they continue to grow up past 3 years old and really haven't topped out until they are about this age. And so this is about as big as he's going to get. He's a nice big bull. He has some quality in his depth, in his hip design, his length of body, even with that depth. I'd say he's a little flatter made bull than some we've seen out here. As you get behind him and his muscle shape and his rib shape from the rear view, he has lots of depth, but not quite as much spring as I'd like to see in that rib shape. So a little flatter muscled. And now again, we're talking about a maternal breed, so we're not looking for necessarily all the beef in the world. However, as say compared to the last entry, he doesn't have quite that same power. I'd say proportionally from front to back, he's got a little more brisket, a little more front end. With maturity, that will come. They continue to grow their front end more than anything as they get older. You get a lot more chest depth, but he could have a little less of that and a little more in his back end. I do like his foot shape. Again, a high quality foot here, and I'm pleased to see with all the bulls so far that we've had out here that these are sires and sire prospects that have a good foundation under them, and he's no different. He could be maybe just a little wider as I view him through the front legs, but not particularly narrow there. So. He's a little lower in his pastern design in the rear. Now, of course, he's a 5-year-old bull, so he's not going to be quite as upright as the younger bulls. But still, I'd probably bring him up a notch in the angle of his pastern. And good testicles. Looks like a good breeding bull to me. I would think you'd get some daughters out of him that are a real maternal type, that have a lot of breed character, that'll last a long time in the herd. So thanks for bringing him out.
Again, another congratulations to Black Bull of Barnsley. We are now going to be judging our champion and reserve champion senior bull. This class is sponsored by MSD Animal Health as well as Hoyles Plains Highlands. While we have our 3 big senior bulls in the ring here, let's just be mindful of sitting or leaning on the fence and making sure that we're giving these animals plenty of space and making sure we're not jumping off of the fences or anything that could give them a bit of a fright here for us today. These are our biggest and oldest bulls of the day, and as you can probably hear, they are very interested in what is going on. So we want to make sure that our spectators stay on the spectators' side of the fence to keep everybody safe here today.
Senior Bull Championship here. I think these bulls sort themselves out quite easily, in my mind. I'm going to go with this bull in front of me here. He's got all of that that substance, all of that depth, all of that breed character, and I think he's really the full package that we're looking for. So congratulations to a really outstanding bull here. I think he's a little bit superior in his hip design as compared to this calf here. He has a little bit more depth of muscle and substance as compared to that bull there. I think the bull that follows type better and is the best package to follow is going to be your younger bull here. It just turned 2. Congratulations. Yeah.
A very, very big congratulations to Larimar of Admirable Park for taking out the Champion Senior Bull Grand Prize. And a very big congratulations to William Windrush of Hunter Highlands for taking out the Reserve Championship Prize. Thank you so much to our exhibitors from that class. Our next championship is going to be the judging of the Grand Champion Bull. A big thank you to AVOC Highlands for sponsoring the Grand Champion Bull. The Grand Champion Bull is going to receive a broad sash and trophy, as well as a Grand Champion Bull Carhartt jacket donated by Barnsley Highlands. We're going to have our Champion Junior Bull in the ring now to be judged against our Champion Senior Bull for the title of Grand Champion Bull.
Well, we have a tough choice here. I'm still deliberating. Pros and cons to both these bowls. Both are very high quality. The older bowl you're looking at, what you see is what you get more. We're looking at a prospect bowl here, kind of imagining how he's going to grow out some. Both these bowls have a very minor fault in their pasterns. This bowl, he moves his pasterns a lot, and he rocks down a little lower than I'd like, but he tends to flick them up a bit. This bowl arcs in his pasterns just a little bit. Both of them very minorly. So I'm kind of like, what's the lesser of the evils there? I like the depth and curvature of this bull's rib. I like the way he carries his muscle down really deep. I like the squareness over the top of his hip. I think in his pin design, I maybe bring him up just a little bit. As compared to this bull, I like how level from hip to pin he is. He's just a real smooth, eye-appealing bull. So I get behind him. I think he's a little narrower type. You know, I'd like to see a little more substance through this lower round. I'd like to see a little more rib expression through the side here. But both these bulls I would use in my herd, and I think they're both a very high caliber. I'm going to go with your older bull, and I think he's a deserving specimen. Yeah, what a champion. Beautiful animal.
Thank you. Up for it again. A great big congratulations to Larimar of Admirable Park for taking out the title of Grand Champion Bull for the 2024 Highland National Show. And now we have the Supreme exhibit being judged in the ring. We have our Grand Champion female. Mulder Do of Barnsley, competing against our grand champion bull Larimar of Admirable Park for the title of Supreme Exhibit for the Australian Highland Cattle Society 2024 National Show. A big thank you to 77 Ranch for sponsoring this class for us this year.
All right, the moment you've all waited for. We're at Supreme Champion Highland. We have our champion from the females, an outstanding black cow. She really displays a stereotypical Highland type. She has that depth, that maternal ability, that utter quality, femininity, breed character, athletics. She has a nice calf that follows her type, only 3 weeks old. So we're talking about a very young calf. However, a nice calf for its age. Impressive cow. Just talked about the bull. Equally as impressive in his own right. He's broad, he's thick, he's powerfully made, he's deep-bodied, he's expressive in his rib. He's a bull that has some breed character. I see him making some really outstanding offspring. How do you choose? I hope you're agonizing as much as I am. I'm going to go with this bull. Yeah. Two outstanding animals, though. Congratulations to you guys as well. Yeah. Mhm.
Let's have another round of applause for our supreme exhibit, Larimar of Amrable Park. Congratulations. We are going to jump into our steer classes now. So we have class number 27. This is Highland Steer, 8 months and under 18 months. This class is proudly sponsored by Bellarine Distillery. We have 2 Highland Steer classes, and then we will be following those with our group classes for the day.
We've got a 15-month-old black steer and a 16-month-old frosted red steer. Some difference in body type here. We have the length and extension in this steer here. We have more of a compact body style in the black. He's a month younger, maybe giving up a little bit of size even so to this calf. In terms of beef, though, and this is a beef breed. Remember, we've talked about animals in terms of the reproductive quality all day, but what we're looking at here is an animal to make some beef out of. And what I want to see is a steer that can put some flesh on pasture, on grain. Want to see a steer that can travel, can get around, has enough structure. It doesn't have to be perfect. He's a steer, but he has to be structurally sound anyway. And as I look at these two, I'm going to go with this black, even though he's just a touch smaller. I think he's getting there fast enough. And what I see here is a natural kind of animal who's going to put on beef. He has a little bit more substance. He has a little more thickness. I think that he's going to convert calories into beef quicker than this steer here, which has a taller leg, it has a shallower rib. Typically that would translate into less feed efficiency and a slower rate of muscle development as he matures into a beef age animal. So I want to see just a little bit more of that substance and efficiency in the way he's made. But two good steers. Thank you. Single entry steer here, just a little older. We're looking at a steer that is closer to slaughter age, and what we want to see there is some development. We want to see that substance I was just talking about, fleshing ability, some length of spine. He definitely has that length of spine. He has the ability to travel and get around and get his calories. If he's in a pasture environment, he's got to travel and do that. So structure still plays into this. He's got to have the right size, for his age. And being closer to slaughter age, here we have a steer that is adequate for his age range. So you're going to get a carcass here that is the right proportion, size for his age. And so I think this steer makes a good first place. He's got a lot of elements that we can appreciate, that length of spine, some depth to his muscle. You could clean him up a little bit in the way he's designed here and there, but he is a steer, and in the end, we're looking for excellent beef. So thanks for bringing him out.
Beautiful. Congratulations to Prince of Cambus Glen for taking out class number 28. Highland steer, 18 months and under 36 months. We now have the steers competing for the championship, sponsored by Elders Insurance Mount Gambier. The first place getters of classes 27 and 28 will compete for the title of champion and reserve champion Highland steer.
just come to the middle. Again, some difference in ages here. We have our two winners and our second place steer here. I'm going to go ahead and go with this black steer. Again, I see a potential carcass here that is that has that efficiency. It has that ability to finish on grass or grain if needed, and I think he's the right kind of steer as compared to these other two who are just a little longer legged, don't have that same muscle expression, and it'd be a little harder to finish. So I'm going to go ahead and go with this Dunn as the reserve champion steer, and thanks for bringing these steers out. A nice representation of the Highland beef potential.
Thank you. We are now going to be heading into our group classes, our final classes for the day. We have 4 group classes. We have a breeders group, breeders pair, pair of females, and sires progeny group. Coming up this afternoon, we have our exhibitors getting ready for our breeders group at the moment, and we will be starting reasonably shortly. Scott Carter, bring your group down, please. Make your way to the ring, please. Groups. When you're ready, breeders groups.
Mate, can't get good help for love or money. Mostly love. Well, where's Melissa's group? She's in Breeders' group. Yeah, go Huff.
No, she's not.
What did you need me for?
Mel is in the breeders group.
Oh, is it? No, she's in Breeders' pair. Yes, I do. Where are they now? In the bottom corner. Next to the curtain. Yeah. Yeah, which is what I'd shown you. Yeah. Yeah, the table can be there, but the trophy's in the middle.
Who are you looking for? Melissa's.
Mine.
Erica's.
Here they come.
It's nice to see that the Glen Stray animals are also making their way to the ring. Very well done, team. We have incredible organisation skills here from everyone. It takes an awful lot to get 3 animals out here at the same time from the same breeders group. So it is very, very much appreciated that we have 4 incredible breeders groups out here today. And it has not taken us half an hour to get ready, which is excellent news. So if you are following along, the class number is class 29. Class 29, breeders group. This group is a group of 3 animals. Both sexes are to be represented, and all of the animals need to be bred and owned by the exhibitor. So this is a group of 3 animals that the exhibitor has bred and owned, with males and females both represented here in the group of 3. First, second, and third prize as well.
I'm told I'm picking a first, second, and a third. Some very good groups here. Basically, what I'm judging here, what I'm evaluating is the consistency of quality in these 3, all by the same breeder. They don't necessarily have any genetic relationship to each other, but they are the best 3 that the breeder wants to display for evaluation as a group. So I'm looking for that consistency of body type, consistency of quality through the whole group. Now they might have one that's really outstanding, might be the champion, but unless the whole group follows in that quality, then I'm not going to pick that group necessarily. So as I look at these, I'm just going to leave them standing right here. And it makes it easier maybe in these group classes. If you start messing with them a lot, you can get really confused. So I'm just going to pick them right here. The group I like best is this one right in front of me here. I love this bull, clearly, your supreme exhibit. Love this cow, placed very high in the show. This heifer follows type. She might be the least of them and maybe a little off in her hip structure, but there's so much to like about her. And the front end of her rib shape, her legs, everything follows type very much with these two that are with her. Strong breed character through this whole group. Really appreciate what this breeder is doing. Congratulations. Strong competition for second place. We have some younger cattle here. Really like this group in terms of their depth of body, their breed character, good feet, good structure, length of body, much to like, and consistency, a type, a look. I don't know if these animals are related or not, or if this is just the breeder's eye, but they really know what they're doing with their cattle. Same can be said here. Really think that there's some difference in type, but a consistency here as well. Long-bodied, smooth, athletic, good breed character, a nice group as well. I'm going to go with this younger group here. They have that depth of rib that I really want to see, and I think they're just slightly better. A close third. Thank you.
Congratulations to Admirable Park for taking out the first place in Breeders' Group. And once again, a big thank you to Cruachan Highlands for sponsoring this class. The next class is Breeders' Pair. So this is a pair of animals now. Both sexes are to be represented, and both animals are to be bred and owned by the exhibitor.
All right, best two-head breeder's pair. Same principles apply. I'm looking for that consistency of quality, uniformity, and as I evaluate these, we have some tough decisions to make. Some class winners, most most all of these are first or seconds. Some excellent cattle out in this ring. Hope you all are getting an eyeful of what the breed should look like. We have some really classic cattle. I'm going to go ahead and go with these two here for obvious reasons. They just exemplify the breed. They have that depth of quality. They have that consistency, and I think they come to the top pretty easily, just being the fault-free kind of pair. Congratulations. Gets even tighter after that. I'm going to go with this group for second. Talk about beauty. It doesn't get much better than this, folks. This cow, this bull, exquisite, really beautiful animals. That breed character is excellent. And they have that uniformity of body type. They have the right structure. Maybe not as high performance in their muscle shape as the pair above them, but really good, really good. Have to appreciate these ones strongly. I'm going to go ahead and go with the third and final choice right here. Appreciated this bull out there in his classes. Really appreciated this heifer. She came to the top. Both of these are really high quality. Not as uniform in their type, perhaps, as those that came above them, but both high quality and excellent animals. So congratulations to all three of you and to the rest of you who brought out fine cattle. And I can only place 3, so thanks for bringing them out.
The next class that we have into the ring is class number 31. This is our second to last class of the day. This is the pair of females. The pair of females need to be bred and owned by the exhibitor. A big thank you to Cruachan Highlands for sponsoring this class. This is another very, very big class. We have We have 9 pairs of females plus a couple of calves at foot. So we will be very, very busy judging this class.
Best two females here. We have a lot to choose from. Um, again, how do you choose? I'm really looking for that consistency of quality. It's going to come down to that because we have a lot of standout cattle in here, but we're looking for the best two females from each of these breeders. I'm looking for a kind. I'm looking for a consistency of quality. And I can only pick three. I'm going to go with this pair as the best two females. Outstanding cow, outstanding heifer. A little bit of deliberation in my mind because they're not perfectly the same type, but a lot of the same elements are there. The same depth of body, the same strength of breed character. They're beautiful cattle with that production and efficiency ability, like that pair. You talk about being cut out of the same mold, having a high degree of quality, and just a real uniformity. I think these two heifers here have a lot of strength. Um, they might not have placed highest in their classes, but they were towards the top. They are good representations of the breed, good size, proportions, structure, breed character for their age. I could say they might not be the biggest, the most powerful. They might not be a few different things, but they are definitely the same kind of cattle. And I have to appreciate that about these two, that they are just a type that the breeder likes. And I appreciate as well. Some good Highland cattle right there. I'm going to go with this group as your third. Love this dun heifer. A lot of things to like about this yellow too. The reason they're not higher than that pair is just this heifer's hip structure is a little off. I love her from the hip forward. I changed that just a little bit to make them a more uniform pair. They don't have quite the depth of body, maybe as this pair, as that pair. I appreciate that about these two that came above them, but a very nice set of cattle right there. Congratulations to all of you, some close contenders out here, so appreciate you coming out.
Okay, we have our final class of the day in the ring. This is Sire's Progeny Group of 3. Both sexes are to be represented. Once again, a big thank you to Cruachan Highlands for sponsoring this class. They have sponsored all of our group classes today, so a big thank you to them for supporting the group classes for the national show this year.
Our final class, 3 progeny by the same sire. I always love this class. It's fun to see what these herd sires are producing, and the consistency. You know, all day I've had to sort through the males and the females separately, kind of imagining, you know, what the female side of that lineage might look like, or what the male side of that lineage might look like. Now I get to see it right in front of me. Here's the female, here's the male, all from the same sire. So that's a lot of fun. We have 2 really good groups out here. Just evaluating them. Again, I'm looking for that consistency of quality. Breed character. I'm looking for a sire, right? The sire of these 2 groups who is able to make some beef quality at the same time as balancing that with that that brood cow femininity, that powerhouse female that has all the female quality. So I like this bull calf out of the classes, and he's just got a lot of depth and substance. Little heifer behind him, a lot of that same kind. She's beautiful in her type. She's got that rib. She's got some extension. Black heifer on the end is maybe not as deep in her flank as the 2 in her group, but you can see the same kind of character. You get behind any one of these 3, and they're broad between those back legs. They're square over the hip. They have that nice shoulder, blends in through the front end, and a good foot under them. Nice little group. Clearly we have a strong contender with the Supreme Highland exhibit leading this group. We've talked a lot about him. What a bull. It's, he's not necessarily going to make this, the group I pick, but as we look down this group, we see some similarities in quality of structure. This cow's structure is very good. She's got the right kind of bones where they should be. You get behind her, she's broad topped, has a nice calving design, a good udder on her. She's taking care of this little calf, this young calf, but you can see that her focus is production rather than putting a lot of mass into her own body. If she wasn't milking, I imagine she'd be thicker and broader, but she has the bone structure to fill back out. And we have a little heifer on the end here that I really like. She's got some length of body. She has muscle expression. She has good bone structure and femininity. A lot to appreciate about this one. I'm going to go ahead and go with this group as first and this group as second. Strong contenders. Thank you.
And that is a wrap on our judging for the 2024 Australian Highland Cattle Society National Highland Show. A great big thank you to the City of Greater Geelong. They have provided the grounds for us to be able to be on today. A big thank you to our judge, Jacob. A big thank you to our ring stewards, Jared and Fiona, and our ring stewards for yesterday, Chloe and Chloe. A big thank you to Jackie, our marshal, for today, and everybody else who has contributed. We are so grateful to be able to put this show on for you guys. For those of you traveling, make sure you have a safe drive home. And for those of you staying around for presentations for dinner, we will see you a little bit later on.